Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ingram Jones, and with me I have Cameron Gillon. Cameron, how are we doing?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Cheers. How about yourself?
I'm good. For people who don't know, you are the man behind the Boxing Insight.
Correct.
Okay, I know we did a recent thing with yourself and Ben Blackwell, which was great, and people seem to have liked that. I've kind of brought you back again to kind of talk one-on-one, to get a little deeper and talk more about the Boxing Insight, how it really came about, what got you into it, and sort of your views on boxing and anything else you'd like to share. So let's start from the start, as they say.
Well, right from the start, so we've got to go back to the summer of 2015.
Right.
And I was listening to a few podcasts, and to name a few, I was listening to the Boxing Boys in the US.
Right.
I was listening to the Boxing Rant, and I was called in to the Boxing Asylum a few times, and I enjoyed calling into the Boxing Asylum, but it was vaguely only for about 10 to 15 minutes where I was kind of putting my point across on certain subjects that they were talking about, and I felt like I wasn't getting enough of my opinion out there. And where I'm such a passionate fan of the sport, I wanted to get people listening to my own opinions. So I considered starting my own, and it probably was about an estimated time of about 2 weeks that I was thinking about starting the show. And I just thought, well, I'm going to go ahead with it and see how it goes. And I started the Boxing Ground, which was the original name, because I didn't actually know of a real good name at first. So I thought, we'll go with the Boxing Ground and we'll see how it goes. So I gathered a few friends of mine, or I asked a few friends of mine that I've spoke boxing with for a few years now, Scott McIntyre, Rue Oliviers, and Michael Rodriguez, who are still part of the pod. They were the three guys that joined the pod and started it with me. And we did the Boxing Ground on MixRL at first, and we uploaded the tunes to SoundCloud. And it was just really just a weekly shows where we were just talking boxing, the updated news, all the aspects, and we weren't really doing anything else at the time. We were just kind of adjusting to the audio of knowing what to do, and then we ended up, once we knew what we were doing, we went out there, bought better audio sets, better microphones, and it was in the late November, early December, we started the Boxing Insight, and that's where we are now. And that's been going for about 2 months. We started a whole new channel, a whole fresh show, and it's really kicked off. And we started off in the autumn time when we had smaller guests. I brought up the idea that we should start getting maybe some fighters on, and we started getting smaller names on. We had Darnell Boone on, one of the American high-risk fighters. He beat Adonis Stevenson, he's knocked down Andre Ward, he's given Sergey Kovalev a close run. We had him on, and then we had Peter Fury on, who was really the first major name that the world really knew, the trainer. And in my opinion, I said to Peter at the time, I was like, I don't understand how much I appreciate you coming on to our show. It's fantastic talking to you, and that wasn't an hour interview. And it just kind of picked up from there, and the Boxing Insight's now here. We're now on YouTube doing Google Hangouts a few times a week, twice a week, Wednesdays and Sundays. And, we just try and bring a fresh, unique dimension to the show. And I'm consistently working every day, trying to think of new ideas, improving the look, and just building it. And, it's not majorly out there yet. We're not doing massive numbers, but at the minute, we're just kind of building it. We're not expecting to do massive views overnight. And, although we have done some impressive numbers, but at the minute it's just building it and getting out there, and obviously the more quality of products you put out there on a consistent basis, more people will follow. So it's just, at the minute, I think we're still kind of in a building process of the show, and it's really just to see how it goes over the next few months and for the rest of the year, I guess.
So how have you found the whole process of being where you were to where you are now?
It's quite interesting because when I started it, I wasn't really sure where it was going to go. I think it was just, I thought at the time, you know what, we'll start off and then we'll see how it goes over a period of time. And really now, I'm honestly quite surprised with the kind of products we put out there, because I wanted to do something new. I wanted to take something new into a show and try and bring something new for the boxing fans to listen to. And that's really what I wanted to do. And we brought in the guests, we brought in the fighters, and thankfully, and quite surprisingly, we've not had one single fighter turn me down yet to actually come on the show. You'd think, being and as you yourself, you do a show, and I'm sure it's happened. Fighters, it's not easy for fighters or big time names to just randomly come on an unknown show which isn't being paid. It's just out of a hobby. They might not feel the need to do that when they're getting mainstream media in the US, if they're over there, or even in the UK. They're not going to need to come onto podcasts and get themselves out there. But at the end of the day, we haven't been turned down by any yet, and it's pleasing. But at the minute, it's just building at the minute, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it comes in the rest of the year, to be honest, because I'm just enjoying it. But it's certainly in a better place right now than I thought it would be if you asked me where it would be 2 months ago.
What's been the feedback like?
Feedback's been great. Every time we do a show, on Twitter or on YouTube, it's always been positive feedback. But even if the feedback's critical, I enjoy that as well, because I don't mind criticism. If someone criticises or thinks we're doing something wrong, I'm open to it, because, you can just learn from it. If people stay quiet and ignore it and pretend you're doing something good when you're not, it's not, you're not going to learn from it. So you want people to be criticising you, and, if they think your product's not good, you can find out what it is, and you learn from it, and you change it up. And that's what I advise. If people write a tweet to me, if they do it in a friendly manner, of course, I don't mind it. But it's when people are getting a bit over the top with, calling you every name under the sun, and you need thick skin to be doing something like this, because you will get some people giving you some unneeded comments, and as you know, and you have thick skin. But any feedback's good, criticism or positive feedback. So I'll take it on board and just keep learning from it, because that's how you're going to improve at the end of the day. Just listening to the viewers, because at the end of the day, you're putting products out there for people to view. So you want their feedback, regardless of whether it's good or bad. So just learn from it and just keep moving forward. That's all I've got to say, to be fair.
So when you first started listening to podcasts and getting yourself involved afterwards, did you feel it was easier getting involved at first, or did you feel it was a case of, you listen to it first and I could do that, and then now you do it yourself? Is it as easy as I could do that, or there's a little bit more to it than you thought?
Well, when I first actually called into a show, I was actually a bit, what's the word? I wouldn't say nervous, but I'd say a bit cautious about actually doing it, because I wasn't sure how to come across and everything. And compared to now, I don't find it easy, but it depends really what you're doing. I find going onto a hangout and talking boxing with, like we did last night with you and all the others, and I find that relatively easy, because when you get going in discussion, it doesn't feel like you're actually live, if you know what I'm saying. It just feels like you're in a call just talking, and you really forget you're actually live and people are listening to it. But the most cautious part, and probably the most part where I thought, well, a bit iffy and a bit nervous, was when you're doing one-to-one interviews with fighters for the first time. And I'm sure you understand. When you're doing your first interview with a fighter or anyone in boxing, it's not easy, because it's you don't know how to approach them. You try your hardest, and maybe sometimes you try too hard, and something doesn't come out right because you're overthinking. But it's all experience at the end of the day, and it's also the caliber of fighter, or the caliber of the figure you're actually talking to as well. But I think I enjoy it, and I want to see. I'm just happy with the way it's going, and but yeah, I'd say I think over the last sort of month or two is where I've really come into the comfort zone of actually doing it. So I think it's getting there.
What's the most common question you get asked when you're doing the Boxing Insight?
How do you get them fighters on?
Yeah,
that's the because I don't tweet them. Like I'll randomly write a tweet saying, podcast tonight with so and so A, B, and C, and they'll look back on my tweets and they'll wonder how I got them. And without giving too much away, it's just a matter of knowing how to approach them in the right manner. And this is what the thing is. Before I actually started, I spoke to other people, other pod runners who actually did the same thing. And I said, listen, I kind of asked them for advice. I was like, listen, I want to know how you done it. How do I approach this? What I want to do. And I gave them some ideas what I wanted to do. And I said, can you give me some tips? And they gave me some tips, and I followed it, and I put every bit of what they told me and put it into my own way of doing it, and it's come off. But like I said, we haven't been turned down by any fighters yet, so maybe that's down to the way that we approach them and the way we do it, because anyone can listen back to the interviews we do, and they're completely different to any other interview. I try and find out why they got into boxing in the first place. I'll find out about their amateur career. I'll find out things that I want to know that I can't find elsewhere. So that's what I mean. I want to do new things, and that is probably the most question I get, because the names we've had on are bigger than I thought we would have had on at this point. So people ask me, how did you get that fighter? It's really just a matter of knowing how to approach them and knowing how to do it, because sometimes you've got to go down the actual links of doing the email, going through their manager, and just really basically explaining to them why you want them on. And if you do one interview with them and they enjoy it, they'll come on again. But that's definitely the most common question I think I get is, how did you get that fighter on? Why do they come on your show? But obviously I'm not going to give too much away, because other pods might start going into it and taking people that I've had on, or but I want to keep that limelight really, because I like the product that we're putting out, and I want to continue doing it. But that's probably the most common question I'll get on Twitter.
Okay. What's the most annoying thing that you've come across since you've gone down this road?
But the most annoying thing that really frustrates me is when we've got a show penciled in, and then last minute we have consistent pullouts with the panel members, even if it's unintentional, because you set it up. You set the hangouts up, you set all the live stream up, you set everything up, and if you look at our show, I do custom covers of the photos, I do custom edits, and I do them, and then the show doesn't go ahead, and it all goes wrong, and it's frustrating, but that's part of it. You can't help things. You can't help general life come into it where people have got priorities, because, for example, I'm the youngest one on the show, and I'm the one who does it, so I can understand why people, they have kids, they have wives and kids, and they, that comes into it sometimes. And whereas for me, really as being a kid, I don't have those priorities, so I can kind of be more spacious with the actual shows and being able to come on and more flexible. But it is frustrating sometimes, but it is what it is. You can't stop it, but it is quite frustrating when you set it up and it doesn't go ahead.
Okay, let's just talk boxing world general. Let's talk social media. Your thoughts on social media?
Well, in the sport of boxing, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be on social media, daily talking boxing. But it depends what it is. It depends who it is, because you get some people on Twitter that you think they know they're boxing, but they say some things, and it's frustrating to read, even though it's their opinion, they're entitled to it. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're on Twitter and you don't like something that comes up on your timeline that someone's written, you got to ask yourself why you're following them. At the end of the day, you follow and you choose to follow what you read. But I'm very careful with who I follow on Twitter and social media, because I don't want to get into a situation where I'm being bombarded with tweets which I don't really want to be seeing. And so for me, because I'm so careful with who I follow, I don't really get too bothered by what I see. It's more or less just quite a consistent basis of proper boxing talk from purists. I only follow purists on social media. I don't follow any fanboys or anything like that. So for me, it's just simple. What I read is simple, and so if anyone I follow, I think is a purist, I'll follow him.
I have to intervene here. I sense that you've been abused by a fanboy.
I've been abused by not even fanboys, but I get abused quite often. But it doesn't offend me at all. It's everyone's entitled to their opinion, and that's why people really get annoyed with actually abusing me themselves, because it doesn't bother me at all. If they say to me, let's be fair, I mean, obviously I'm not going to go into an explicit words or anything, but they'll effing blind to me, and I'll be like, well, that's your opinion. I'll say something, that's your opinion, you're entitled to it, and then they'll be thinking, what's this kid on? Whatever I say to him, he's just replying with the same boring stuff. It's your entitled to your opinion, You can effing blind to me all you want, but, it doesn't offend me, it's verbal at the end of the day. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, so, if I ever get abused, I laugh at it and shake it off, because if you're getting abused and you take it to harm on Twitter or social media, then I'm not sure how you can cope with daily life, outside of Twitter in the real world, So just take it on the chin and just let it be what it is.
I'm here chuckling to myself. Some people take it to heart. Some people take it lightly. Other people turn up outside underground train stations or overground train stations looking to have a fight. No names to be mentioned. But anyway, moving on. There was an incident recently I read on Twitter where I think it was with Prince Patel and somebody, and they said that they were going to meet him at the train station, and there's a picture of Prince Patel with his hands up looking ready for a fight. I don't know. What are your thoughts on things like that?
I just want to quickly talk about Prince Patel, actually, while she brought him up, because you can agree or disagree with the way he approaches himself in the sport of boxing, but I think he's a character. We need characters, but the only problem is he needs to back it up continuously if he's going to keep on with this sort of attitude. Now, I enjoy listening to people who want to sell themselves, and let's be honest, if you think of the flyweights right now in Britain, Prince Patel's probably the first one that comes to a lot of people's minds, simply because of the way he comes across in attitude-wise. And let's be fair, it's not right or wrong what he's doing. He's selling himself, he's putting himself out there. He does more views out on his own than all the rest of the flyweights combined on interviews. And that's because of his attitude, that's the way he sells himself. And you can choose whether you want to listen to it or not. That's the way he's going about it. And at the end of the day, if he keeps backing himself up and he keeps winning fights, he is going to be big, because he's selling himself. People listen to him because he's a character. I mean, all this stuff that he does in interviews saying, I'm greatness, I'm a stud, all this stuff, it's hilarious. It's funny to listen to, and he's doing the right thing, I feel, because you've got to get yourself out there. And the flyweights, being in that lower weight divisions, they don't get the credibility or the recognition they deserve, in my opinion, even at the top level, like Roman Gonzalez, pound for pound number one, but he gets criticised for that. So I think what Prince Patel's doing is probably the right thing that he should be doing, but he has to keep winning, he has to keep proving himself in the ring to back up the talk he's putting out.
What about his thoughts of when he went on Box Nation and was quite rude to Barry Jones, or about Barry Jones?
Yeah, I mean, I watched that. I think I watched it on the day it was uploaded. I mean, Barry Jones is obviously a former world champion, very respectable guy, and Prince Patel really kind of disrespected him. Did he say that no one remembers Barry Jones as a world champion? Did he say something along them lines?
Something along them lines, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it is what it is. I mean, he did say on an interview recently that, because he was on another podcast, actually, I listened to it, and he was quite humble about Barry Jones. He just said, listen, I went a bit overboard in the adrenaline rush, but at the end of the day, he's destined, or he thinks he's destined, and he's looking to become world champion. So why, you can kind of say, why is he going on live TV and kind of saying, he's disrespecting someone for achieving something that he's looking to achieve? It doesn't make sense to me, but again, it's brought in views, hasn't it? People saying, well, he's disrespected Barry Jones, so I'm going to watch it. So, whatever he does, it drives views, and it's only increasing his name. So, I wasn't in agreement with it, but, what he does is what he does, so, it is what it is.
On the flip side, Tyson Fury, Sports Personality of the Year, the comments Tyson's made, and the backlash he's had.
Well, I'm totally against that. Because Tyson is world heavyweight champion now. He beat the best fighter in the last 10 years. He's been a dominant champion outside of Floyd Mayweather. He's been the most dominant fighter in the sport. And Tyson Fury went in there and did something. I think I said it last night. He did the unthinkable. He went to Germany. He outboxed Vladimir Klitschko. He outsmarted him. He outfought him. He outdid everything. And he beat him on points in Germany, which a lot of people didn't think he would have to do. He would have had to knock him out. And he did what everyone said he couldn't do. And he deserves his moment. And it's kind of been taken away from him with a bad press. I mean, the thing that really kind of got to me was when we saw that reporter, when Tyson was out running, and the reporter was actually running with him just to get an interview and a few words of him. I mean, come on, just let the guy live his life. He's just won the World Heavyweight Championship. And they're digging up things from what he said 2 years ago. I mean, come on, if he lost that fight, they wouldn't be doing that. It's just they're printing stuff out that's going to get them views, it's going to make them money, it's going to make their business money. and it's at Tyson Fury's expense. Tyson's entitled to his opinion, like I said, he's entitled to his opinion. He can say what he wants. I mean, it'd be wrong for me to kind of sit here and say, well, I'm not in agreement with what Tyson said, because, not everyone's going to agree with any of our opinions, but it's disgraceful, the way that Tyson's been treated. I think I've kind of kept off it. I've not really said anything on social media because, you'll get some idiot commenting saying you don't know what you're talking about, speaking shit and all that. So it is what it is. I'm a big Tyson Fury fan, and just give him respect. He's done something that no one's not been able to do for 11 years. Vladimir hasn't lost since 2004, so just give the man some respect. So, yeah.
Let's talk about women's boxing. You recently spoke to a good friend of Bayloric TV, Chantel Cameron. Talk to us about your impressions of Chantel Cameron.
Yeah, I mean, I got approached by someone, I think it was a standing PR 8 count, who's actually the PR of Chantel Cameron, and the PR of Mitchell Smith, and he inboxed me, DM'd me on Twitter, and said, would you be interested in having Chantel on the show? I was like, absolutely, because I was actually looking to get someone from the ladies boxing on the GP squad on the show, and I knew Chantel Cameron more than most because I've seen videos, I've watched the interviews of her, I've seen the interviews that you've done with her, which were very good, quite recent as well. The last few months you've had 2 with her. I enjoy listening to them, and I listened to them again before we had her on the show, just so I haven't missed anything out, because I wanted to cover everything with her that we possibly could in the time we had. Very likeable girl, very respectful, very genuine, very focused on the sport, very focused on doing what she wants to do in the Olympics and Rio. All the best to her. I think she's only 24 years old, and she's achieved a lot in kickboxing, boxing in itself, and I hope she gets to Rio. I know she's got the qualifiers coming up in April, May, and I know that she's got to go over to Colorado for training in the altitude atmosphere, so that'll be interesting. But all the best to her. I mean, women's boxing in general, for me, is on the high. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do it at the Olympics, and you've got Katie Taylor as well, of course.
I tell you something, as you're on the subject, super fight.
Katie Taylor and Chantel.
Yeah, Cameron versus Taylor. Imagine
100%.
that.
I mean, that could happen in the Olympics if they both get there. And I know that Chantel told me that she fought Katie Taylor once before in 2011, when Chantel first started getting into boxing, from converting from kickboxing, and she lost that fight. But that'd be very good to watch. That's a super fight. That's a super fight.
Wow, a real super fight. So, fingers crossed. I think she'll make it. I really think she'll get to Rio. I really do.
I'm hopeful. Go ahead. No, I just said I'm hopeful that she does.
She's got star quality. There's something, you talk to some people and they're good at what they do, and then you've got people who've got that little bit of extra. And I get the impression with Chantel, she's got that little bit of extra,
Yeah, she just seems to be someone that every time she steps up the level, she steps up her training, she steps up what she's doing in preparation to do that achievement that she set her eyes on doing. So that's what you want to see, and like I said, I'm wishing her all the best. I mean, when we spoke to her, I was very interested. I was listening to what she was saying in detail because I wanted to learn more. But yeah, obviously, I'm following her now. I'll be following her for however long she carries on. But I'm very hopeful that she does get to Rio, and very hopeful that she achieves a gold medal, because it'd be fantastic to see. Speaking to someone like that who's very likeable, you just want to see him succeed.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit more. Let's talk about Filipino Flash. That was a big interview for you. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, probably the most without sounding too maybe sappy. It's probably one of the best moments I've actually had, because Nonito Donaire is a fighter that I watched growing up. For years and years. I watched him from his flyweight days. And coming through the rankings and coming through the weights, and you got to give him his respect, because he done it clean. He did 365 days, 24 hours a day drug testing throughout the time that he was at the highest level, and he still continues to. And I approached Nonito Donaire, and I said to him, just start my own show. I'm a huge fan, and there's things that I want to know about your career that no one really knows. That was just basically why he got into boxing, why he chose to dedicate his life to boxing all this time, and his amateur career. And I asked him about it. The interview's there. I I said to him, why did you get into boxing? And he told me everything. He told me why he got into it, the personal reasons. And, that was about a 30-minute long interview. And Nito Donaire, for me, is one of the best fighters of all time in terms of pound for pound, especially in the lower weights. And he's done it clean. No suspicions whatsoever about how he done it. And he's a role model. And he's a credit to the sport. And we're not too sure how long he's going to go on in the sport because he's been around for a while at the highest level. He's just won a world title again. Looking forward to seeing what he does there. And I've spoken to him a few times since that interview. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he does because I'm a big fan of Nito Donaire. And to speak to someone like that is an honour, to be honest. So, it was definitely one of the best moments of probably in my life so far. Only really being a kid as well, So obviously I watched Nito Donaire from a long way back. So that's why, I'm not 40 years old. Donaire was, when I started watching boxing, Donaire was at the highest level. He was number 2 pound for pound, behind Mayweather. Mayweather was the only guy that was ahead of him at one point. So got to give him his kudos, and what he did in agreeing to come on and speaking to me, I give him all the privilege in the world and all the appreciation in the world because he really did make my day that day. So you got to hand it to him.
Yeah, of course, and I think that it's credit to you for getting the interview. And secondly, I think there's this feeling that or belief that because you have an affinity to a fighter that you don't have any feeling, like you're a fan of boxing, and of course, if you're a fan of boxing, there are guys that you warm to because you followed their career, so you want to know what they're about. So I understand that. There are some guys that you really want to talk to, and it means something when you actually take the time to talk to you. I remember talking to Julian Jackson. I knew him for years, watching him knock people out, and then when I got the opportunity to talk to him, that was an honour. And talking to Muhammad Ali's brother, I mean, I knew, obviously not everyone knows Muhammad Ali, but to actually get the opportunity to talk to his brother and to know about, I'm sitting down listening to, the brother of Muhammad Ali tell me about what his brother did, what his brothers are like, what his brother's about, the intimate things him and his brother got up to. Just amazing. So I understand what you mean. It's you have to be in it. You have to be in it to win it, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you might get this kind of sense of where I'm coming from in this. When you actually do speak to fighters, when you're actually talking to them, you don't feel the feelings or emotions of, oh my God, I'm talking to this person. You just kind of flow through it.
Yeah.
And, and then it's not till afterwards. You think, wow, I've just spoken to this fighter. Whereas at the time, you feel like, well, you're just talking to one of your mates who's just come around your house for a pint.
That's it.
Or going to and then afterwards, that's when you think, I've just interviewed this guy, etc., X, Y, Z, and then that's when you really hit you what you've just kind of done.
Yeah, that's true. While we're on the subject of interviewing and fans and all the rest of it, I'm not going to use the word fanboy because when I used the word fanboy with you on our interview or crossover show yesterday, you reacted to the word fanboy, and it was quite funny the way you reacted. In fact, I may just use the word fanboy again just to get that reaction again. Fanboy. When you hear the word fanboy, what does it mean to you?
It means shit, to be fair. I mean, I said it best yesterday. I mean, obviously you uploaded the video. It's there. It's in red, black, and white. What I said. I mean, I know plenty of fanboys. I mean, I'll get abused by fanboys here. Whenever you write a tweet, you'll have someone comment on it saying and being really arrogant, really sarcastic, and so for example, like I've written tweets before about Tyson Fury before he won the world title.
Yep.
And I'll have this was about 2013, so about December, and this is when Anthony Joshua had 2-3 fights, and someone will go, why are you hyping up that bum? Anthony Joshua sparked him out in 2 rounds, and do you know what, I've literally considered quitting Twitter in that sort of situation. I mean, I think I'd class a fanboy probably a bit different to like some others, but I've never been one for actually interacting with a fanboy. So I've always been one to kind of just avoid certain people. I kind of get the sense and the feeling of reading someone's tweets, what they're about and what they really know, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if someone writes a tweet that I'm like, and I kind of think, what are they talking about? I'll just unfollow him or so. I've never blocked anyone on Twitter. I've never blocked anyone on social media because I've always been one to say, listen, you're entitled to your opinion, but I'll just unfollow you because I don't want to listen to it. But I've never blocked anyone, even if someone's called me every name under the sun. But yeah, a fanboy. I mean, what can you say about him? I mean,
you're saying a lot. I know. I find it relatively interesting and entertaining listening to you talk about fanboyism.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You can't stop fanboys, but I mean, how would you describe a fanboy?
I don't know. In a world of their own.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you don't know what they're talking about. You can't understand where they're coming from. And like you said, I mean, how can you get a fanboy? I mean, a fanboy, what is it? A fanboy, a casual fan, whatever.
I don't know. The latest one I heard was, oh my God, yesterday. I was in the middle of, we're doing a coaching session for Cricket Island, and Freddie Flintoff kind of appeared on our screens. We were doing the overhead projector was on, and Flintoff's face turned up, and it was a picture of him, and he had a pair of boxing gloves on. I said, please, no, don't anybody say anything. We're in a group of cricketers, and the guy piped up and said, that's Freddie Flintoff. Yeah, he fought on TV. He's a good boxer, that Freddie Flintoff. Why doesn't he fight that Tyson Fury next?
I mean, obviously, yeah, it's a perfect example. For another example, I actually was on one of the Facebook groups the other day, and someone wrote a post on the page saying, Amir Khan is really impressing me at the minute. I think he should fight Tyson Fury. I think Khan stops him late.
No, there's even a better one. Who wins the fight between, was it Deontay Wilder and Muhammad Ali?
Yeah, I mean, exactly, and stuff like that. I mean,
Colin Malignaggi versus Thomas Hearns.
I mean, when I read these posts, I'm not sure if what I'm reading is actually there. Sometimes I consider whether, my mum's put ecstasy in my dinner and I'm high and reading these or anything like that. So I'm not sure. Sometimes it's hard to believe what you're reading, if you know what I'm saying. The one with Khan, Tyson Fury, that's probably the worst one I've ever seen. Saying, someone wrote it was literally worded like this: I want to get your thoughts on this fight. Amir Khan versus Tyson Fury. Amir Khan stops him late too fast. I mean, what?
I think
there's no going to go into it.
I might put that as the title. This video.
I mean, yeah. It's just shambles. It's raucous.
What about Sugar Ray Robinson versus Kell Brook?
I don't even want to go into that, to be honest with you.
And they post it on the Facebook pages. I tell you, and I can't believe these people are real. They just can't be. I don't know if they're doing it for a wind-up or they're actually real. That's the thing.
It's hilarious. I mean, you got to add it to them. I mean, obviously. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, what do they do? Do they just join a boxing group? And I mean, do they just see Amir Khan fighting, and then just see Tyson Fury fighting, and they have no idea what weights they are, what even is a weight division? They just kind of put two and two together and come up with 100, and just think, Khan versus Tyson Fury is a fantastic fight to watch. It's shambles. Absolute shambles.
Absolute shambles. Okay, I got slightly diverted there, but let's get back a second. When you tune in or you go on YouTube and you're looking for content, what is your criteria for content on YouTube for boxing?
Well, boxing, yeah. Only in terms of interviews and stuff like that, I only really watch IFL TV.
Right.
Because they're they're the most. I'm not going to say they're the most consistent people for uploading, because there's plenty of others who don't get paid for it, go to shows, and they still go to a lot of these shows and put the product out there, and you've got to give them their kudos because they're not getting paid. They're putting their time and effort into going to these shows and getting no financial gain out of it whatsoever, and they're just doing it based on the love of the sport. So anyone who does that, I take my hats off to them.
Yeah.
But because of the fact that IFL is pretty much there in your face, I watch them because of the fact that they've got the most in-depth relationships with the fighters in terms of that they can get the longer interviews, the more detailed interviews. So I watch theirs. But in terms of, I'd rather watch, like, I'll use you as an example, I'll rather listen to your interviews with certain people that you get on because it's just free roaming and it's, you ask questions that really should be asked. There's been some questions that you've asked people before and I thought, well, really IFL should be asking that fighter that as well. So
Yeah.
I'd rather listen to product like you put out, other online shows put out, but in terms of professional, where I want to be seeing all the daily uploads in fight week, IFL's where I go. But anyone who does that, like I said, last word now, anyone who goes out to the shows who isn't getting paid and interviews fighters, they're the most respectable people that I take my hats off to.
Okay, what is it? What makes a good? Okay, what makes a poor interview, a good interview, and a great interview? Because I hear a lot of this. That's a great interview. What for you determines a great interview?
I think a poor interview is when some interviewers don't follow up on questions that really should be followed up on. For example, someone will ask a question about a fighter, and or someone like, for an example, I'll use an example. So, say for example, an interviewer could ask Scott Quigg, "What do you think about Gillon Rigondeaux fight?" And they'll say, that's not in the sort of the mindset at the moment for a potential fight. It's not going to happen yet." And then they'll leave it as that. Really, you should be following up on that question and saying, what are the reasons why, etc., etc. Because at the end of the day, these is what the boxing world wants to find out. And some interviewers won't ask questions because they're too worried about losing access or hurting the fighter's feelings or whatnot. But which is fair enough, because at the end of the day, especially for IFL TV, they're gaining out of this now. So if they like a Chris Eubank Jr. thing, potentially he could be a big star in boxing in the UK boxing if he keeps winning. And IFL haven't got access to actually interviewing him because of mistakes that they've done, or I don't really know what's going on there, but obviously there's a problem between them two sides. But let's be fair, some interviews don't follow up with questions, and I'm sure you may have seen interviews like that before where you think, well, maybe they could have asked something else added on to that. Mm-hmm. And you want to get the best and the most out of an interviewer, and sometimes for me it just it's not satisfying enough listening to some of the interviews where I've wanted to hear another part to it and I've wanted to hear more, and it's just ended. And I thought, what, that could have been a lot better than it was. But a good interviewer is someone who just shoots straight and just interviews and asks appropriate questions, doesn't drag it out with wasting time or anything like that, and just get straight to the point. No faffing around. And I think it all depends on the personality of the actual interviewer as well. I think it's all about personalities in boxing and interviews, and I think if certain personalities do it better than others, and it's all about professionalism as well. So I'd say it's a kind of a combination of factors into one of what makes a good interviewer. But everyone will have their opinion on what they think is a good interviewer and what's a poor interviewer. So that's my opinion. It's just a combination of things.
What makes a great interview? What interviews you look like you go, damn, that was a great interview? What is it? What feeling is it you get when you get a great interview? What does it for you?
Tyson Fury interviews. It's all about person. I mean, IFL done an interview with Tyson Fury, which was like about an hour long, and that's probably the one that I've stuck in the most. John Fury was another one. Yep. The interview where he's hilarious. John Fury, he's very passionate about boxing. Obviously, his son. I enjoy listening to their interviews. I enjoy every interview. It depends what sort of fighter you're into, I guess, but I've never really looked at an interview and thought that was trash. It's more or less just been, well, it could have been better, if you see what I'm saying. Yeah. So a great interview, it really depends what's in it. Maybe the personality. Yep. Someone who talks a lot, someone who's an outspoken person, even like a David Hay went in his day. When he was talking a lot. I thought he was a bit of a personality at first, but someone who talks and gets straight to the point and talks sense. And Tyson Fury is probably the best person in right now to listen to for me. And that's not me being on Tyson Fury or the Furies kissing their asses. That's just the truth. A lot of people will. You look at Tyson Fury's viewing on interviews; it's ridiculous. So Tyson Fury, that sort of personality, I enjoy listening to, and just really is having a bit of a laugh in the interviews as well.
Okay, I want to close this on two topics. We'll use British boxing and give me. When I say British boxing, what do you think? The first two things that come to your mind when I say British boxing.
On the up.
Okay, explain.
I mean, you look at the sort of. I know we've spoken about this before about title holders and champions, but at the end of the day, you go on the facts. We've got 12 world champions or 12 recognised world champions, whether they're regular belts or not. I'm not in agreement that the regular belts are world titles. I'm only in agreement that you're only a champion if you beat the champion, or you win a vacant belt. And for example, James DeGale won a vacant belt against Andre Dirrell. Mm-hmm. Fantastic win in the US. Andre Dirrell's he's no mug. And DeGale won that fight in the US on Dirrell's own promoter show on the PBC. So you've got to give it to DeGale, something like that. But British boxing as a whole, I mean, what can you say about it? I mean, you can't really criticise it too much. I mean, it depends what sort of aspect you're talking about. In terms of world champions, there's we've not had this many world champions for So will we have this many world champions at the end of the year? We might lose some, we might gain some, we might float around the same number, but British boxing. I mean, I'm sure you've listened to some American people. A lot of American boxing fans and people in boxing are very high on UK right now. The boxing in the UK, because we, in my opinion, we appreciate boxing more than anyone else around the world. I think if you look at our fighters, whenever one of our fighters goes over to the US. Every fighter goes over or goes abroad, their following is massive. They take over hundreds of people. They'll take over hundreds of people. Whereas if you've got fighters abroad, you go to a show, you don't really see a massive fan base around them. You don't really see, for example, like I'll use an example. Say like Arthur Abraham come over to UK. How many people is he going to bring with him? Not much compared to what Martin Murray's going to take over to Germany to fight Abraham in Germany, if you know what I'm saying. So British boxing for me is probably the best it is right now in boxing as a whole.
Okay. World boxing.
Trying to think of the word, because I know exactly how to describe it, but I might say puzzling because it's up and downs.
Right. Do you think it's because of the belt situation and the organisation's not helping?
I think it's just political reasons. Like the network's some networks not working together to make the best fights.
Right.
It can't, that can't be helped because every promoter and manager wants their fighter on their network. But even in the UK, that's probably the worst thing. The fact that Warren and Hearn won't work together and stuff like that. But it's unless they go to purse bids, like for example, Sam Egerton against Bradley Skeets has been made, but for the British title. But other than that, it's the network situation is poor because you can have so many good fights, and obviously people who are purists will know the fights I'm on about, which you could have Haven fighters against Aaron fighters, and they can't be made. But the PVCs, I do like the PVC product. I think if they can start matching their guys together, then that'll be a big bonus. But my phone's just gone off there. But the PVC is a good thing. I think the terrestrial TV, if they can bring more of that into it, is going to improve the sport. But as a whole, I'm pretty happy with it. But there's room for improvements as always, and there's room where you're always going to have situations where you're going to be happy with a certain decision in boxing. There's always going to be situations where you're not satisfied with it. At the end of the day, we're the paying public. At the end of the day, we want to see the best fights because we're putting our money into the sport. But it doesn't work like that. But worldwide, boxing's not in a bad place for me. It's not in a bad place right now.
Okay, Cameron, is there anything else that I may have not touched on, or something you'd like to talk about before we finish?
No. I think we've had a good discussion there.
Sure.
It's been about an hour long, isn't it? I think, but enjoyed the chat.
So how can people find you, or find the Boxing Insight?
Well, we're everywhere in Graham. We're actually everywhere. But on Twitter is probably the best place because that's where we update regularly. But at Twitter, it's probably the best to follow. If you're interested in the podcast, it's best to follow at TBI Radio Show on Twitter.
Okay.
On Facebook, it's the Boxing Insight.
Yep.
YouTube's the Boxing Insight. iTunes or Boxing Insight. But if you're looking for a personal account, it's at Cameron Gillon 95 on Twitter. But I'm mostly on the boxing podcast page now, updating things, so I'm not really on that. But yeah, just if you want to give us a follow and you're interested in the show, just follow us. And obviously we have you on the show as well in Graham, which is always a pleasure. So obviously if people who listen to you like listening to you and you're on the show, then it's always a benefit when you're on the show for your fans who want to listen to you more. So it's it's a pleasure having you on. It's a pleasure having the guys on who are actually on the show. So hopefully we can get you on more often. It's just like I said before, it's any time you want on the show. Don't even have to ask. We enjoy having you on. So hopefully we can get you on again.
Thank you so much. And anytime I've got spare, definitely you guys are the number one spot to come to.
100% appreciating a quick shout out to Bayloric TV audience. Obviously I get interactive with them on your live hangouts.
Yep.
They know their boxing. They're a pleasure to talk to, and just hope that you keep going and keep bringing out the products and then what you're marketing this year, and keep getting interviews going. And looking forward to the new additions that you've got, because it could be a big year for Bayloric TV if you keep it going.
Absolutely, thank you so much for that, and definitely shout out to the fans, those who are always there week in, week out, doing the inspiring and wanting more and more chats and the live stuff they're enjoying. I think what I might do for our next chat is probably use the main station, the main channel, which is Bayloric, and use that to probably do a special and call everyone over to that, and they can see some old interviews as well over that. So
100%, you should definitely, last quick word, you should definitely bring more, or as much as you can, more live hangouts. That's definitely the best thing, I think.
You think
to
so?
your show.
Absolutely. I think then that's going to be you're going to be the man to show me how to get this hangout going.
It's the best way to do it. It's the best way.
Thank you so much, Cameron.
Right, take care. All the best.
All the best.